Alright guys, so Michael Myers is one of the only killers in Dead by Daylight that has the ability to change his movement speed based on demand. Now, there is one other killer which kind of has fluctuation in their movement speed. Don't get me wrong, other people such as the Clown and the Plague, when they're charging their ability, Leatherface will slow down. But prior to the ability of just having a basic movement speed enhancement based on a tier status, Michael Myers, I believe, is the only person in the game who can do that. So if you're currently wondering, you can see Michael Myers has a 6 meter heartbeat. I was going to say 6 feet tall. He's taller than 6 feet. He has a 6 meter heartbeat. He has 4.6 ms. Now 4.6 might be a little bit confusing to some people. That's his base movement speed, as opposed to looking at someone like Leatherface where it says 4.6 as well. You see, this here is not necessarily true. While Michael Myers is in tier 1, Michael Myers will be moving at 105% movement speed, or 104.5% movement speed. He will be faster than the average survivor, or all survivors moving at 100%, but he won't be able to influence the pressure of moving at 4.6. After Michael Myers uses his ability, the Evil Within, to stalk, he then will hit tier 2. Now in tier 2, he moves at 4.6% movement speed. His heartbeat then increases from 6 meters up to a astounding 16 meters, which still isn't a lot. So technically he's moving at 115% movement speed, or 4.6 meters per second, with the 16 meter heartbeat. Let's have a look at the Cannibal. The Cannibal here has a 4.6 movement, so he's moving at the exact same movement speed at 115%, and he is moving with a 32 meter tear radius as opposed to a 16 meter tear radius. Now, I don't know about you, but half of 32 is 16. It's clear. So now Michael Myers is moving at the exact same movement speed, but he has half the tear radius. The survivors aren't going to be able to react as quick as they are going to be able to act, period, to Leatherface. They're both extremely tall. Now, what are the severe differences? We're looking at the fact is Michael Myers has to stalk even more to get his power up to down you in one hit, when Leatherface can just down you with a 2.5 second chainsaw rev. He obviously receives a 6% movement speed penalty while revving the chainsaw, putting him approximately down to 94%. So while Michael Myers is tier 3, survivors have exposure. Now, much unlike Ghostface, I don't think that's good wording. Okay, unlike Ghostface, Michael Myers can stalk one person and use his ability power-up for the next 1 minute with no add-ons on any survivor. Ghostface has to stalk each individual survivor to be able to use his power-up on them. This being said, we can talk about Ghostface a little bit later. So Michael Myers can leave his power fully stalked, much like Ghostface, at 99%, and then pop tier 3 to look for a snowball, look for a collapse, look for an endgame kind of play. This being said, while Michael Myers is tier 3, his heartbeat will go up again. I believe that therefore puts him on, I think it's 24 meters, and with the Dead Rabbit it puts him on 32 meters. I think that's right. I'm not 100% sure on those numbers off the top of my head, but the main important things to look out for with Michael Myers is while he is in tier 3, he gets the benefit of 10% faster window vault. Now, you might not think 10% is a lot, but how often has a killer hit you at a pallet because he's had 5% additional movement speed from Bloodlust? So anything above 5% in Dead by Daylight is phenomenal. I use Play With Your Food, this perk here. At tier 3, it's 5% per stack on Leatherface to catch people. It just shows you 10% is a whopping, much like 5% is still very strong and decent, especially when it counters penalties. Looking at this though, so he gets 10% faster window vault and the longest lunge in the game. You'll notice when Michael Myers goes for a lunge, his animation finishes, and then you hear a whiff sound at the end, which pushes him an extra about 2 inches, allowing him to get some incredible hits. However, it's very hard to hit these around certain corners, therefore, because of the aim assist, you'll lock on and hit walls more often than not on Myers than you would on other killers. This being said, if we're going to be looking a little bit more into Michael Myers, so while he's tier 3, 10% window vault, larger heartbeat, and he has the longest lunge in the game. While he's tier 2, he has a 16 meter heartbeat. So already, he is enhanced by having built-in bamboozle that doesn't seal a window, and monitor and abuse. So if we're going to have a little bit of a look here at these two perks, guys, we've got God, there's so many perks nowadays. We've got Monitor and Abuse here, and we got Bamboozled coming right up. Did I skip the page? Oh, of course. Alright, this allows you to lower your heartbeat by 8 meters. So let's be serious here. Even if Michael Myers has lowered his heartbeat, he would have a 16 meter heartbeat down to an 8 meter heartbeat 8 meters, moving at 4.6 meters per second. That's less than 2 seconds to react to a Michael Myers heartbeat coming around the corner. He could also be using an add-on called the Dead Rabbit. That's also going to moderately reduce the heartbeat, which is 25%. 25% of 8 is 2. Now he has a 6 meter heartbeat. You don't really need that. If I'm going to be honest, the 8 meters is fine, but that's just coming from a perk, so you're pretty much getting a massive benefit. 1 second, sorry.
My guy, you're looking clean.
Excuse me, sorry. You're actually getting a massive benefit from just running a perk alone. On top of that, he vaults 10% faster. Now he vaults 25% faster while in tier 3. You could stack it with Fired Up, but you really don't need to. Fired Up is a perk that rewards you for performing not as great and makes you stronger. Much like Noed, Fired Up is one of those things that comes towards the end of the game. So for each generator completed, gain a 4% stackable buff that grants a speed bonus when picking up, dropping, breaking a pallet, kicking a generator, or vaulting for the remainder of the trial. So keep in mind, your objective is to not let people complete objectives. Yes, 4 times 5 is 20% if all generators were completed, but you shouldn't be wanting for Jennies to get completed to get a power benefit, if that makes sense. Your job is to stop generators and then kill the survivors. So I'm going to look away from that. So even if let's look at the Hag moves at 110% movement speed with a 24 meter heartbeat. I recommend Modern Abuse on the Hag, but even with Modern Abuse on the Hag, she has a 16 meter heartbeat, which is Michael Myers tier 2 default. And she moves at 110 as opposed to Myers moves at 115. 100%. That is so incredible. The fact that he could just hide his heartbeat, he could just hide his light, he could just come around a corner, pop a tier 3 on Discordance. A very powerful killer with the right situation and the right perks too. So if we're going to keep looking here, you shouldn't run both of these in my personal experience and opinion. I don't think Modern Abuse is very good for a rank 1 game. Realistically, good survivors should be able to react in time. There's very few situations where they're not going to be able to react in time. Maps like the Game and Larry's Institute, sure, but things like Coal Tower, they'll be able to react 9 out of 10 times. So Monitor's great, especially for grinding your way down to the lower ranks, but in the lower ranks, I'm going to have to say I give Monitor a hot pass. Bamboozled, allowing me to vault a window 15% faster and seal the window, and if I pop tier 3, 25% faster through a window, I'm pretty much instantly through the window, much like the Survivor. And if they don't have life, I'm going to be able to lunge hit them on the opposite side of the window pretty much straight away. Very powerful, very devastating. Amazing perk. Now, both of those perks I just showed you, Modern Abuse and Bamboozled, take advantage of Michael Myers' passive built-in kit. So that's how you excel at making Myers stronger based off using what is at your disposal prior to that. Now with Michael Myers, gen rushing is what he is susceptible to, much like other killers that need to prep, such as the Hag, the Trapper, people that need to set up the game. And there's only one perk that really stands out above all else when it comes to stalling generators, and we all know that's Hex Ruin. I do love Corrupt Intervention. I think it is a phenomenal perk, don't get me wrong, under the right circumstances. However, you really don't want people doing gens, and the longer people look for the totem, if they look for the totem, it'll help you out. Keep in mind, Ruin is relying on luck and having a good totem. Yes, at the same time, you could get away with not running Ruin. You could run Corrupt Intervention and Discordance. Therefore, you funnel people towards the same generator at the beginning of the game, allowing you to get multiple stalk, allowing you to maybe get a grab off on somebody. It can make it more devastating for you and some good plays. But at the same time, I'm going to stick with the basic Ruin kind of gameplay here. Now, looking at Michael Myers, we already know while he goes in tier 3, it says right here, when triggered, all survivors suffer the exposure status effect, after which it regresses back down to Evil 2. Now, it doesn't actually word it there, but while you're in tier 3, your heartbeat is louder. Now, the thing about Surge here is that's Overcharge. It looks just like Surge, but it's not. Alright, Surge, where are you, sweetheart? I think Surge might actually be back a page, chat. Let me just have a little bit of a look. There are so many perks here in Dead by Daylight, sometimes it's really hard to keep track of absolutely everything. I'm sure I've just ran right past it and chat's just like, Goose, it was to your left. Alright. Surge is green. Okay, my apologies. I didn't even notice that. It's a good thing I checked over with chat then. So even though Surge is green, doesn't make it a bad perk in the slightest. It doesn't matter if you have a 6 meter heartbeat. It doesn't matter if you have Tinkerer. It doesn't matter if you don't have a heartbeat at all and you grab somebody as Ghostface. What Surge is going to allow happen is when you down a survivor with your M1 status, therefore mouse click 1, not mouse click 2, doesn't work off a chainsaw like Infectious Fright does. When you down somebody with Surge, every generator within 32 meters is going to explode, regress 8%, and slowly start regressing by itself. This is going to give you a lot of information. Now, this is going to allow you to know if multiple people are kind of in the same direction. It's going to allow you to know, if one person's on that Jenny. If you down Jeff and a Jenny in front of you explodes that Jeff was working on, generator behind you to the left and generator to the right explodes, 3 Jennies explode and everybody's healthy on your team, chances are one of the enemies or one of the survivors is on one of those neighboring Jennies. Now, I'm not saying go and hunt them down, and I'm saying investigate for 4-5 seconds based off the information provided. Now, Surge entwines really well with a couple of perks, okay? So we're going to put this on here. Surge entwines really, really well. I'm putting it in my utility slot. So the way I build a killer in Dead by Daylight, I used to build a stall perk, a understanding pathing and rotation perk, a perk to speed up the game in my favor, and a snowball perk. That's how I used to build perks. Guys, I gotta quickly catch up on the subs. Ghosts and Saxel, thank you for coming in with the Prime and the Tier 1, guys. I will be with you in one moment. I'm terribly sorry. I don't have my headphones on, so I didn't hear it. I'll be with you guys in one moment. So, you see, Surge entwines well with things like Surveillance. Now, Surveillance allows when you break a generator, or when a generator is regressing, better said, all generators that are regressing will glow white. When a survivor is on the generator will change color, therefore you know somebody's on it. Can work decently on Michael Myers. Personally, I think it'll work better on Ghostface, especially if you've got the regression coming from here. Stacks perfectly. What does not stack is Overcharge and Surge. That would be very, very powerful. It did, but it doesn't. But the best combo in the entire game with Surge, in my personal opinion, especially on somebody like Michael Myers, somebody who can down you in one hit and then rotate. Keep in mind, putting a survivor into dying state with a basic attack causes all generators within 32 meters to instantly explode and regress. Read that again. With a basic attack, an M1 causes all generators within 32 meters to instantly explode and regress. There's no exceptions. I down Jeff, and then for whatever reason they haven't touched the generator in 40 seconds. I down David, that Jenny blows up twice. It still only regresses as if it was regressing once. Keep in mind, 40 seconds of something regressing is pretty much half a generator, so you're not getting a lot of value out of that. But just know Surge will stack on top of Surge, downing survivors multiple times. Keep in mind it has a 40-second cooldown, so you can't just tier 3 and down everyone and have all Jennies pop. That's not what's going to happen. But if for whatever reason they don't touch it in 40 seconds, you can make it explode twice for the additional 8%. So it's not bad. But there's one perk that excels greatly when it comes to Surge, because when a survivor blows a generator, they come off it temporarily and then they jump straight back on it. It might be enough to make some people panic and hesitate. That's going to put me into my third slot. Now, my third slot is generally used for situational awareness, and this here is by far the best information situational awareness perk that causes stall, bar Discordance. Discordance doesn't cause stall. I still prefer Discordance over Thrilling Tremor, but for the build I'm looking at here, I think Thrilling Tremor is much more important. So what's going to happen now? I down Jeff with tier 3 because I couldn't catch him and he was too good of a looper. 3 Jennies around me explode. I then pick Jeff up straight away with Thrilling Tremor. Now these generators are sealed for 16 seconds. On top of that, they're regressing. They already regressed 8% of what is completed. Generator takes 80 seconds to do. I'm going to round the 8% up to 10%. 10% at 80 is 8 seconds instantly off the generator. Now for the next, 16 seconds? 16 seconds, you're looking at about a 1.5% per second. So you're looking at what, 25 seconds off a generator just for downing a guy and picking him up. You're not even kicking it with Pop Goes the Weasel. Pop Goes the Weasel makes it go back 25% period by itself. You can really damage generators using this combo. And on a killer who has an instant down as Michael Myers, I find that very powerful. The information provided from Thrilling Tremor is going to allow you know where to rotate after you pick up Jeff and hook him. That being said, Jennies that explode, you might want to investigate that. Personally, I wouldn't even give a damn. If I saw 3 Jennies around me explode, I picked up one guy and I went to hook him right beside one of these Jennies exploded. If the Jenny was inside or out of line of sight that exploded, I'm going to beeline across the board to the one generator that isn't sealed. I'm going to run over there. I'm going to kick it with Pop. Now I've got regression on absolutely everything. That guy's going to get saved instantly because I'm nowhere near. I'm not going to have to wait 60 seconds for him to hit struggle. He's going to get saved straight away. Might have DS. We might look to see if the guy had borrowed time, or we'll try and tier 3 on the other guy if we had tier 3. If he goes for a really dumb body block. We'll just M1 split pressure and go off rotation with that. But that leaves me to my final perk. Now, on all my killers, I highly recommend Pop Goes the Weasel. It allows you to work more efficient and more effectively. It rewards you for playing well, downing a survivor, hooking him, rotating away, and then getting a pop kick. Very important. Make Your Choice rewards you for rotating away, but rewards you for coming back. There's no reason to come back with Pop Goes the Weasel. You know there's two people there. If you ran over somewhere, the generator's 2% done. There's an urban evading near, and you can't find her. Yes, I completely understand why you're going to rotate back. You hooked a guy on a hill in the middle of the open. Completely understand why you're going to rotate back. The guy's on death hook, and you need to eliminate a player because you've got 2 generators left. Completely understand why you go back. But realistically, you shouldn't be looking to rotate back to the hook unless it's not looking in your favor. So I kind of step away from Make Your Choice. If you're playing somebody like the Billy, God, I hope you don't run Make Your Choice on the Billy. Or if you're playing somebody like the Nurse, the Spirit, somebody with map pressure and momentum who can get around the board really quick, 176% movement speed on a Spirit without any add-ons, then yes, I completely understand going right back, getting that Make Your Choice hit, getting that trade. But realistically, if you're a trapper and you have Make Your Choice, your job is to trap, to prep the board. If you hooked him in the hill in the middle of the open, yes, go back, get your Make Your Choice trade. If he's the only healthy guy and you know he's the one saving, get your hit. I personally would rather prep. I prefer a stall build. But filling into our final perk here, there are a couple of options right now. Personally, I would realistically want to take Pop Goes the Weasel. I feel it would be the most efficient and effective. I have Situational Awareness from Thrilling Tremor. I have a perk here that's going to allow me to down people and cause Jennies to regress. I've got more regression, and I got stable regression. I could trade this out for Discordance. I could up myself and make myself even stronger by going for something like Mono and Abuse or Bamboozled if I wanted to. I could go Nurse's Calling because I have a 16 meter heartbeat by default. Nursing Calling's 28 meters. You know, somebody's healing, you rotate around the corner, boom, you just down him straight away. And then you keep in mind, you have a 16 meter heartbeat. He's going to be able to react. If you had Modern Abuse and Nurses, and you'd be able to come around the corner with an 8 meter heartbeat and down him straight away, get Surge popping. Remember, Surge is not based off your heartbeat. It's 32 meters by default. If you're double calm out on Doctor with Distressing, it's not going to be 44, 46 meters. It's still going to be 32 meters. So if you even knew what map you were going to, chuck on the game, you're going to make 3, 4, 5 generators explode if you down somebody in the middle of the map. It can make it really lethal and really devastating, especially if you know where you're going to go. But all in all, that's personally what I'd recommend. I can see people running bit of Murmur, trying to bring it back into the equation. Brutal Strength if you're going to bully down pallets. Enduring if you're not going to respect any pallets. But I don't think you need Enduring. You can just kind of know what pallets to and what pallets not to respect. Now this perk here, Infectious Fright. A lot of people would say, oh Goose, Infectious Fright would go well with this combo. Okay, you're right, it would. Downing Jeff and then having David scream on a generator, chances are David's not going to stay after the generator exploded. He's going to run. Keep in mind, this is based off my heartbeat. So if I down Jeff in tier 2 with a 16 meter heartbeat, that Jenny's 32 meters away and explodes, Jeff's not going to scream. I'm not going to get the value I need out of it unless I had Dead Rabbit or Distressing, or I was tier 3. I don't like playing around forceful situations that might not be able to present themselves. I'd rather know this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. That's why Infectious I lean a little bit away from when it comes to Michael Myers. But at the same time, scrolling through all these other choices, there are a couple of things that do spring to mind. I mean, at the end of the day, perks like Sloppy Butcher aren't bad. They're not great. Save the best for last. You know, people can heal in lockers. You've got I'm All Ears for mind games if you really wanted to. You could go Corrupted Dimension, makes them more likely to find your ruin. Even things like Knockout could work really well. Imagine downing somebody with Knockout, having generators explode, and then being able to go straight to the generator or pick somebody up. They're not going to know you just picked up Jeff. At the same time, if they're working on a Jenny and you just picked up Jeff, the generator's going to seal from Thrilling Tremor, so they're going to know you picked up Jeff. And if they're looking in the bottom left-hand corner, that gives information now. The bar will glow when somebody is being picked up also, so you kind of have to step away from that. So looking at conclusion, the best possible decision making you could make out of everything, there are 3 perks that excel above everything else bar Pop Goes the Weasel. So 4 in total. You have Pop Goes the Weasel, you have Modern Abuse, you have Bamboozled, and you have Discordance. They're the only 3 perks you should really be looking at for this filler slot. Now keep in mind, this is a build based on rank 1 gameplay, and I know I'm rank 3 before anyone says. based on rank 1 gameplay using no add-ons. If I was using J Memorial for faster stalk, and I was using something like Dead Rabbit, you wouldn't need Modern Abuse. 25% of 16 is 4, giving you a 12 meter heartbeat as opposed to an 8 meter heartbeat. You're still 4 off, but you're saving on a perk slot. You know, I could go for a Tombstone piece and J Memorial. In fact, you just go J Memorial, and there's another one. I can't even think of what it's called off the top of my head. It allows you to stalk it. Slightly increase the rate of which evil that stacks, so you've got slightly alongside moderately makes it considerably, so you got considerably faster tiering up, and then you can get tier 3s very, very fast, very quick. You can also, you know, see people through walls for 5 seconds after you stalk, twist, hide your light, moonwalk back up, flick your camera, see if you hesitated, go straight for the M1. A lot of plays you can do with it, but all in all, that's how I'd conclude looking at how to build Michael Myers, and that's another reason why I'd put Michael Myers as the 4th best killer in Dead by Daylight.